Recently, I made the pretty bold statement that critical mode is the only way that Kingdom Hearts 3 should be played, and 10,000 of you watched and hopefully enjoyed that video, so today, we're going to be finding out if the same applies to Kingdom Hearts 2. While Kingdom Hearts 3's critical mode makes some pretty hefty changes from enemy behaviour to the pro code menu, the adjustments in number 2 are fairly basic in comparison. For example, Sora's HP cap is halved, Sora takes double damage, and the MP gains from levels are also halved. Although these differences may make it seem like you're destined to fail, the game does actually compensate you by starting you off with a mind-boggling amount of AP boosts and game-changing abilities, the main one being Finishing Plus, which actually lets you do another combo finisher, which is where you'll do most of your damage. Also, just like last time, I'm going to let you know how many times I died to each boss, and with all that being said, let's go. You join me in the prologue. This is Roxas, who is Sora's nobody, but he doesn't know that yet, and he's living in Twilight Town, but it's not the real Twilight Town, it's actually one that's made of data, and you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm going to skip this bit because you all know what's going on at this point. The only things you need to know are that I picked the struggle baton that gives me +1 strength, and the dream shield so that I can get second chance quicker. Yes, in case you're wondering, I did perish to the tutorial boss again, just like in the last video. Am I embarrassed? Yes. Yes, I am.
Oh yeah, Cypher's always looking after the town, you know?
Why don't you take Cypher's dick out of your mouth, you know? Why is Vivi, like, the hardest fight in the game, man? He's so small, and his weapon has that, like, Viagra effect.
You know, keep in mind I'm rock hard at this point.
Also, I lost the struggle tournament because you get a better reward. Axel rocked up thinking he was hard, and what he doesn't realise is I'm a fucking Keyblade master, man. I got rid of that guy in about 30 seconds. I also got scanned from this fight, which is ginormous, because having to guess how much health enemies have left is about as nerve-wracking as meeting the Queen. King, the Queen's dead. You can't meet the Queen. I am trying to make sure to defeat every enemy that I come across. I mean, I'm not going to spend ages grinding to become overpowered, but by the looks of things, I am going to need the XP. I'm at the Axel fight now, and Roxas, who didn't know who he was 10 minutes ago, is now dual-wielding novelty-sized keys, and is unlocking the shit out of his best friend, who he doesn't even know is his best friend. If you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, you get this, and if you're not, all I can do is apologise. Dolan! Gooby! It's nice to see Gooby, man, and I'm excited for the adventure that is about to ensue. But if I could leave Dolan in that fucking pod for the rest of his shitty little life, I definitely would. I hate that fucking duck. Sora's finally awake, and look at the feet on this kid! Potentially the most famously hilarious feat in video game history. Regardless, we need to get this dude to change her clothes, man. I feel like parts of him are going to start falling out at any minute. Look at Gooby, man! Look at him, he's all over it! I'm at Master Yensid's tower now, and he wants us to read this book, which is hilarious because I don't think he realizes that Sora has spent the majority of his youth fighting the Heartless and definitely has no idea how to read. I'm so jealous of Sora, man. I wish I had 3 gilfs like this fighting over me. Ladies, what we should realistically do is stop worrying about the clothes that we're putting on and start focusing more on the clothes that we're taking off, you know what I mean? Hey. Ah, look at it. It's the sickest outfit in any video game that's ever happened, ever. Look at it. The gang are in Hollow Bastion now, and I've had to turn Dolan's Thunder down because the dude were just wired to the mains I am and zapping everyone to death like a walking electric chair that quacks. Anyway, what I wanted to tell you about was another particular ability called Reaction Boost. What this does is boost the reaction command's damage by 50%, and I can demonstrate it here on this guy. Oh, also I died twice to this fight, but I think it's because I was trying to get the dual stance footage. So, there's the choice of 2 worlds, and if I've learned anything from Kingdom Hearts 3, it's to do the world with the higher battle level first and struggle, and then the subsequent world will be a breeze. Unfortunately, the gummy ship missions are required in this game. You can't just fly past everything, and I was more disappointed with that than my girlfriend is after sex. Just in case you're wondering what my gummy ship design looks like, it's this. The hope is that all enemy fire will, kinda like spicy food, go right through me. I flew through the other gate primarily to see which battle level was higher, but also to test drive my new ship, and if you're wondering if a big square with a load of lasers works, the answer is, if you can get over the fact that all the Heartless ships are going to be laughing at how dumb you look, yes, absolutely this is viable. We're now at the home of the biggest simp on the planet. We all know that without so much as a second thought that Beast would suck the moisture out of Belle's gym towel. I'm currently engaged in combat with what is ironically the perfect Kingdom Hearts enemy considering the weapon I'm using. It's a door. I technically died twice in this fight, but Mickey Mouse saved my ass both times. In fact, now I think about it, can you die in this fight? I don't know, man, the door's dead. First try! I don't know if the timers are affected in critical mode, but I very nearly failed this, man. Cogsworth needs to work on his grip strength, dude. I'd be jacking my shit every day to improve mine. Next up is Sergeant Simp. The whole gist of the fight is to back him into a corner and then just skull him to death. And then eventually you can mash the reaction command and it pulls him back into his senses. If you die to this fight, you are a fucking moron and you should uninstall the game immediately. Like, we don't even need you on the planet. I died once to this fight. Next on the list was the most cursed balloon you've ever seen. After a clutch once-in-a-lifetime Dolan heal, it was looking like I was going to flawless this guy until... Never mind! King Mickey saves the day again! His second phase was awkward as he killed me in 2 hits, but after 2 more attempts, I had him on the ropes. It was terrifying because I was at half HP and 1 hit could have killed me, and it did. But wait, oh my god, I don't know if there's some kind of guarantee that I don't know about, but I got Mickey'd again! Mickey pulled out of me? No, wait, that's not right. Mickey pulled me back up, and with a quick... Boss number 1 was down. It was definitely worth coming here first because I got Cure out of it, which is going to be massive. I'm in the Land of Dragons now, and I don't know about you lot, but I think this is one of the funniest cutscenes in the whole franchise. I just find it so ridiculous how a fully grown man is willing to smack a 15-year-old kid in the face, and Sora, who has fought far tougher enemies, just gets dropped like me when I was a baby. Honestly, Land of Dragons Round 1 really doesn't have anything worth mentioning other than the Shan Yu fight, and he's about as tough as a freshly shaved fan. Just as predicted, it was severely easier than it should have been due to hitting Beast Castle first. I didn't even have to use my brain in this fight, man. I just pressed X and then protected the door when I needed to. Safe to say, I didn't die on this one.
And in the end, you have saved us all.
She didn't do anything, man. That was all me. I could have brought Ricky Berwick into that fight and had more help. No offense or anything. She just didn't do that much. The fuck you ship auto-piloted back to Hollow Bastion so Merlin could show me a book. He must have overheard me mention earlier that Sora can't read because this one just sucks you in. Safe to say, like any other regular human being on this planet, I got straight back out of there instantaneously with no plans to go back in the future. Hey yo, Herc, come and get your girl, man. From what I remember, Olympus Colosseum Round 1 is quite long, and this isn't a boss, but one of the more awkward parts of the game here that I think is going to be recognisable to everybody. I died 1 time running this bit, and the only thing I can say is that I hate unwanted limits, man. What, you're going to sit there all green, pretending to be some kind of reaction command, and then lock me in animation and take my entire MP bar? What the fuck, man? Auto limit can properly suck its own mum. A little further up the caves of hell, and I find myself fighting a 3-headed dog. I tried to play it a lullaby so I could sneak through the trapdoor underneath it, but he wasn't having any of it. Attempt number 1 was going well until I had the rude awakening that I wasn't playing Kingdom Hearts 3 anymore, and there are no mid-air blocks. Attempt number 3 came around and I decided to take a little more informed and safe approach, and by that I mean I sat at the back of the arena blocking the death balls whilst the seemingly lost Final Fantasy character got chewed to bits by the dog. He did a pretty good job, to be fair. His health bar was getting low and I was feeling as confident as the biggest dick in the locker room as a result of this. I decided to go in and got the luckiest reaction command ever, which resulted in the complete and utter euthanasia of the Hell Dog. I went up to the overworld to see if I couldn't sneak a peek up Herc's skirt, and as usual, Phil had to come in and ruin it. I gotta smooth his blade over the game! I am wet as fuck because I got a power boost and apparently I've got a vagina now. On a side note, if you give stat boost to Dolan or Gooby, your brain is entirely crippled. A little further on, we've got to fight Demix, and there is a reason that his name rhymes with dicks. It's because he's got loads of them! Demix and his lesbian teaching assistant haircut will make clones of himself made from the pre-cum that he's collected over the span of about 10 years. And Sora's job is to sterilize it. You have to defeat 100 clones in 1 minute 20, and as you throw them with the reaction command, the landing zone will create like a vacuum effect. It's basically just press triangle, and then when you're not hitting the Gangnam Style, you're swinging your keyblade like a complete maniac. Luckily, I only had to hear his infuriating catchphrase once, because I don't suck at the game, and I did this first try. This is a pretty weird fight. It's not hard, but it is awkward. I think the main factor is that it's just incredibly distracting because Pete doesn't shut the fuck up. You could be at the opposite end of the stratosphere and he'd still be yelling, "Get out of my way!" He throws balls at you that move so incredibly slowly it actually makes them difficult to block. I admittedly died 4 times to this fight. One of them was because my girlfriend was trying to show me a TikTok, and the other was because I guess I was just stood too close to old Pete. The Hydra fight was a first try! I don't know why, though, because I feel like this is supposed to be harder than it was. I read online that the Trinity limit is supposed to be good, but I've literally never used it, so I completely fucked it up. And there's a bonus. I didn't even have to hear Phil, like, get up on the Hydra's back! So that was a bonus. I also got a dope new Keyblade that I think was called Meg's Breasts? No, wait, it was Hero's Crest. That was it. This isn't a boss fight, but it was an encounter that I completely wrecked, son. I watched this dumb strat on Games Done Quick, and although I didn't do it with half as much steez, I did do it. I'm in Timeless River now. There's a few encounters here, but even the fight with Pete on the back of the boat is a gimmick, really. You press X when you need to, and then you press triangle, and if you can do that, there's not even any need to hold the controller with two hands. There are a couple of things I want to say about Timeless River, though. One thing being that it's one of the coolest world ideas there's been in the entire series. And yeah, there's not all that much that happens, but the concept itself is sick. And the second thing is these cars. Fuck these cars. Pete's actual fight is cool because it'll run you through all the different scenes of the world, but as far as difficulty, it's probably on par with, like, not moving or breathing. Also, if I hear Pete shouting, "Get out of my way," one more time, it's toaster in the bathtub for me. I'm on an any percent speedrun world record attempt to contract scurvy, and oh wait, I just got it. You join me doing literally the hardest fight in the game. I say that because it is actually impossible. You can't kill these motherfuckers. You just have to wait for the time to run out, kind of like my granddad in the nursing home. That was rough. I'm sorry about that one. I recently learned a strategy for this world, right? And it's this little twat bag. He's lucky he isn't bigger, to be honest, because I'd stick him in one of these cannons and just deep fry his ass. He has a whistle that draws enemies towards you, right? Which is really, really useful here because these pirate guys have to be in the moonlight to actually take damage. There's only one fight, really, for this round of the world. It's Barbossa, the undying piss stain, and he looks like he stinks, man. This fight can suck a bag of dicks. Firstly, you've got to kill the lizard, right? Which is fine. It makes it dark, I need it light, kill the lizard. Makes sense. And Barbossa's moves aren't all that bad. What's bad is that if Jack dies, which he does a lot, you lose the fight. Valiform came in clutch here, but Jack Sparrow can get in the absolute bin. I died twice to this fight, but my rum-guzzling pirate companion died 5 times. I mean, Agrabah, it's hot as dicks, and although this isn't supposed to be a difficult fight, it damn well was. Honestly, I think self-fellatio would be easier than this. These 3 kids just torch my ass, and then it's just a big stun-lock death fest. They can all burn in hell. That is all. The round 1 boss here goes as follows. You stop the bouncing guy from bouncing, and you stop the cold guy from doing cold stuff. In between that, you give him a good old whack, and Bob is, as they say, dead. I'm in Spooky Town now, and I'm fighting an anemic mechanical puppet that eats children. There is a reaction command every time he goes to eat one, but I just powered through, man. I didn't press triangle once. I tried to Valiform his ass, but I ended up getting anti-form, so I just fucking... Oogie Boogie had kidnapped Santa Claus, which is a sentence that I'd never thought I'd say out loud. I'll be the first to say this fight can suck the back of my dick twice. It's an auto-scroller fight, which means that instead of just fighting the guy with whatever strategy you deem necessary, you have to complete the stupid task while avoiding the stupid shit. All the while you're on a stupid conveyor belt with stupid spikes at the end. Your goal here is to shower him with gifts like a spoiled child until the platform that he stood on, that he's stupidly made of glass, breaks. After that, you do the set amount of damage that the game will allow you to do before he's just invincible for whatever reason, and then it's rinse and repeat. I died 3 times to this downright ridiculous please take it out of the game fight. I'm living the furry's dream now in the Pride Lands, and honestly, I don't mind this world at all, man. I see a lot of people online saying that it sucks, but it's fast-paced and you get a different moveset from the one that you use for the entire rest of the game. I got once more, which is great. I can now stop getting stun-locked to death. My favourite thing about this world is how when you get dash, you can just fucking... I had to retrieve Simba, which I actually disagree with on a moral level. If someone was trying to force me to be a king and the alternative was just chilling all day, I'd be chilling, man. I don't need that kind of responsibility. Nonetheless, I synthesized myself a soldier's earring, and Kupo gave me a magic and a defense boost, which I thought was pretty nice of him. I'm not even going to waste time talking about this fight. It's pathetic, really, so we'll just go straight on to Scar. He is as poised as I am when I'm hovering over your chest, squeezing out a Cleveland steamer, so reflect really comes in handy here. The further into the reflect paradox you get, the more I realize how overpowered it is. I feel like this fight was designed to be like a reflect tutorial, to be honest. Without it, I probably have struggled, but I did manage to do it first try. I'm terribly sorry to interrupt the video like this. However, I do need you to go to the comments right now and tell me the exact length of the middle toe on your left foot. Either that, or I suppose you could just like the video. I'll leave it up to you. I'm in Space Paranoids now, which is another one of the better design worlds of the series. The main reason that the Tron world stands out to me is that because unlike the rest of them, it doesn't just tell you a Kingdom Hearts version of whatever happens in the movie of the world that you're in, if that makes any sense at all. This one kind of has a story of its own, and also, Sora looks dope, man. The first fight here is kill the robots and freeze the computers. Fairly simple stuff. Although I did freeze the first screen and then wonder why it wasn't finishing the encounter, but then obviously saw the 2 subsequent screens and wondered why I'm such an idiot. The first boss here is like a big Death Star with arms. The gist is that the Death Star doesn't flinch in the slightest when you hit him. It's not your turn to attack properly until you gather enough balls to freeze him.
Take this.
And then while he's incapacitated, you wail on him like my mum beating the shit out of me for leaving a sock in the bathroom. You do this a couple of times and you're good to go. I did use Valor Form here and I died once to the guy that wasn't a moon. He was in fact a space station.
Dance, water, dance.
The lesbian teaching assistant is back, and this time I actually get the satisfaction of smashing his head in. You have to listen to his favourite catchphrase a couple of times here, which did actually spur me on to use Limit Form. Strike Raid gets a bad rap, but every hit heals you and it does decent damage. I don't understand the problem, man. The Battle of 1,000 Heartless is great for XP if you've got an experience boost and can hold your nerve while you're under the 50% HP threshold. The trick here is to keep the camera moving so that the enemies can actually spawn in, because the beauty of this game just being a remastered PS2 title is that most of these enemies are actually just JPEGs. Okay, we basically just hit the halfway mark, and I know you wanted to see particular fights like Sephiroth, which I will be doing, so let's speed it up a bit. Sora and the crew are back in the Land of Dragons, and this time I'm fighting who I think is Riku. He is supremely poised, so I just abuse the speed trap reaction command to chip his health down with a reflex and some slaps thrown in for good measure. The Chinese parade dragon is a fight, really. That's the best way I can describe it to you. It's just a fight. He's got a couple of phases, and I guess he kind of switches between the two of them. He's either on the ground or in the air. He's got one attack that can do any kind of dangerous damage to you, and if you're dumb enough to get hit by it like I was, then you kind of deserve it. It's a longer fight, but that doesn't make it any harder. I did this first try. Okay, I normally love the Zaldin fight, but honestly, this one was kind of sick. The gist of this tussle is that he uses the jump ability that the nobodies use, right? This one? Yeah, Zaldin f***ing loves that jump. And in this fight, we use it against him. So the learn reaction command comes up, and after that, we have access to impale this dude's skull from above like some kind of bird of prey. I am absolutely terrible at this fight. However, I did manage to do it first try, and I'll tell you how. King motherfucking Mickey, ladies and gentlemen. Flick my nipples and call me Sora. He saved me twice in this fight, man. I'm taking that as a first try, dude. I don't even care. Next up is Hades, who I've never really understood how he's ended up in the position that he's in. He's such a pushover, crybaby bitch, dude. You smack Herc's balls at him, which cools him down and leaves him open to attacks. He's got nothing, man. Like, even if you're too close to him when he decides to implode, he'll catch you, but other than that, you're entirely good. This is a first try fight for my grandma, man. This particular Heartless has seemingly figured out drive forms and can actually make himself immune to physical attacks. He is, however, very weak to magic and drops MP orbs when you hit him, so I'm starting to believe there is a slight flaw in his design. The goal is to get the cursed gold and put it all back in the chest, which then makes him susceptible to Keyblade slaps. He shares the exact same properties as the pirate enemies and can be frozen with Blizzard. I did die one time to this fight because I was just stood mindlessly zapping him with no thought process whatsoever. Okay, let's speed this up. Halloween Town, piece of piss, he's dead. Agrabah, shit, died once, never mind, dead. Pride Lands, looks cool, dead as fuck. Tron, chats way too much nonsense for how trivial he is, dead. And we are finally in the world that never was, which is a dumb name because it very clearly is. I mean, I'm right here. I just wanted to take a minute to give Sora the goddamn respect he deserves, man. This dude could be back on Destiny Islands just crushing me, but instead comes here to save, like, every world in existence. The Roxas fight for the first 10 deaths can suck a gigantic, bottomless bag of dicks, but then after you realise that Reflect exists, it becomes insanely easy. Other than that, it's a bit of tactical evasive manoeuvres only known amongst the Harrier pilot community and some well-timed blocks. Counter hit also comes in pretty handy here too, and instead of poising through your attacks, it will physically stagger him, which allows you to then start your combo. Personal fuck you, Roxas, for not being the protagonist of this game. That dude is too cool for his own good. Now equipped with the 2 become 1 Keyblade, I head off to Olympus Colosseum to force final form. After that, it was time for the Zigbar fight, which can be a huge pain in the anus if you don't have the correct abilities equipped. If you don't have once more equipped, then this fight will ruin your entire life. What doesn't make it any better is how Zigbar will teleport around using what I can only describe as Spider-Man level quips. The reason this gets me angrier than Ronnie Pickering is because he runs away while he's chatting At least while Pete is yelling, you can Keyblade him in the top of his dome, but this dude just instant transmissions out of there like a coward. I died once to Zigbar, but it felt like 10 times. Equipped with the Oblivion, I wandered into Bono's fight, who I dare say is the most boring and uninteractive fight in the game. And you might say, whoa!
Wheelbite is actually the most interactive fight because of this.
Listen, right, if you are the type of person to mess around playing with cards while you're trying to fight someone and trying to get the circles on the command menu, you seriously need to rethink your life, man. Ain't nobody got time for that. Let him turn you into a dice and then jump around like a mad till your drive form runs out. It's like kicking a baby. Wait, is it taking candy from a baby? Well, I guess kicking a baby would be easy too. I mean, don't do it. I just think it'd be easy is all I'm saying. On to Saix, I think. The only thing wrong with this dude, in my opinion, is his design. Like, he's got the edgy anime guy persona, he's got the weapon that's far too big for him, and he's got a cool scar. But he's just too small, man. I think if he was like 80% larger and yoked off his head on steroids, he'd be the perfect bad guy. The gist of this fight is that he's got serious anger issues, and because the game was made in like 2005, it was way more taboo to get therapy, but this dude's just living in the past, and apparently he's way too good to speak to a specialist. So, Sora's here to help calm him down. In a rage-induced psychotic episode, he'll throw his weapon at you, and in response, you just smack the shit out of him with it. That'll knock him out of his bitch fit and rinse and repeat. Fun fight, to be honest. I died 4 times to this one. Right, Xemnas Round 1, in my opinion, is one of the best fights in the game. You just got Riku back, the rest of the gang here also, so the feels are going. It's a good and proper one-on-one fight with attacks that you can actually block, and others that you kind of just have to reflect spam through. It also features, to my knowledge, the only reaction command that can't be resolved by just mashing triangle. Also, Square Enix had no right to make Xemnas as cool as he is, man. I mean, he's got fucking lightsabers. It doesn't get any better than that. I did this first try, but don't be fooled. He will chop your ass to bits like Josh Weissman if you let him get hold of you. And here we are. I was going to go grab the Ultima weapon, but it meant completing 100 Acre Wood, and I just didn't have it in me. The final boss in this game is the most Kingdom Hearts boss ever, and if you need me to elaborate, it takes about half an hour, most of it is entirely pointless, and someone's probably going to turn into a boat at some point. If you look closely, you'll see that I'm using the Gullwing Keyblade, which is terrible. I needed AP right before I started the fight, so I grinded a couple of levels and forgot to switch it back, so it looks like I'm stuck with it. The first actual combat encounter is just a dude chilling in a chair, and Sora takes it upon himself to straight up just abuse this dude without giving him a chance to stand up. After a short cutscene, hey, here's the boat portion. The goal here is basically to block the enemy fire to build up your special attack, which they genuinely named
the Mega Laser.
I died once in this encounter. He's taken a seat again, but this time he's turned the gravity off, and apparently the laws of physics just don't apply in this room because now I'm flying around hitting actual buildings at people. I don't know how I feel about this portion of the altercation, man, because if he just stood up, he'd probably win. Anyway, he didn't stand up, and we won. I'm now at the only part of the fight that actually matters to anyone, and it's a bit of a pain. Just like many other boss fights of any significance, unless you're a speedrunner that thinks about the button inputs while they master it to get them memorized, you're gonna need once more. Otherwise, this guy will scrunch you up and use you to wipe his ass. There's a decent bit of blocking involved in this fight, which I completely sucked at. And yet again, you unfortunately have to rely on someone that isn't Sora in order to win the fight, which, as we learned back in Port Royal, just isn't sustainable, man. I eventually replaced blocking and got my crutch out, and by that I obviously mean that I just started mashing reflect. And can you guess what happened? I won, man. Come on, I use reflect. It's a win button. You know you're coming to the end of the fight when you have to mash X and triangle at the same time in order to block his 100 million laser beams. For any old beta male, this could be tough, but every day is forearm day for me, if you get what I'm saying. Hey! So this wasn't an issue at all. I started to see the fear in Xemnas' eyes as me and Riku simultaneously shot our load all over him. It kind of makes you wonder why they don't just use the Keyblade laser for everything if it's so strong. And there you have it. Kingdom Hearts 2 on critical mode. Is it the definitive way to play the game? Let's discuss as I beat Sephiroth so hard he's going to run home crying to his mum. So honestly, I'm going to say you can just attack this game however you want. The way that the enemy's behavior actually changes in Kingdom Hearts 3 makes critical mode very different from the other difficulties. This one honestly isn't that different, other than the fact that you can die from completely out of nowhere. Yeah, the HP and the MP are a bit of an issue, but it doesn't make a huge difference. Moral of the story? I am a fucking idiot on the internet and my opinion means absolutely nothing. So with that being said, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go and watch some other Kingdom Hearts stuff of mine and maybe subscribe. I'll see you in a bit.